Hey everybody, it's Steve with more simple DMX tips. If you've seen my videos, you know sometimes I show some unconventional things. And in this one, I want to show my unconventional or crazy DMX controller that I built. It consists of a bunch of faders where I can fade in my different lights, as well as buttons that I can toggle on and off with pre-programmed scenes. And at the same time, I can also control my laser, all from the same controller. So in this video, I want to show you how I built it, how I programmed it, and then watch it in action with a little bit of haze. So the basic components of this controller are two MIDI controllers, an Arturia Beatstep, a Korg Nano control, an iPad, and an Android phone. And I was looking for something that I could build them into, and I just stumbled upon this Harbor Freight tool case, which is pretty much the perfect size. And I ended up cutting out the plastic inserts that hold the tools, and then carefully cutting the bottom section with a knife and gluing in a few rubber pads and pieces of Velcro to hold all these components. First, I'm going to plug the USB cable into the Nano control, and then it kind of just snaps into place. Then I'm going to plug in the Beatstep, and it velcros down on top of the Nano control. I had to take the knobs off the Nano control. I didn't need them anyway. I've got so many control surfaces with this. Then the USB control has on-off switches, so these two are turned on. It velcros down into this little spot right here. And then I built this wood platform. I spray painted it black and glued a rubber pad on it. And it sits here to cover up the USB hub. And then the hub is connected to an Apple camera connection kit. The new ones you can actually charge and use the USB control at the same time, which is a nice feature. It plugs into the iPad. iPad gives it power to the controllers. And then this is an Android phone, and it plugs in here to this little adapter. And then it is hardwired into the laser with this cable. And then I cut this piece of foam for the lid, and that's basically how the whole thing goes together. Voila. I built my controller with the special black editions of the Korg Nano control and the Beatstep, but more common are these white versions of each, and they're easier to find on eBay, a lot more common. And here's how they look built into the case. The heart of running the DMX part is this iPad Mini 2 that's running an app called Vibrio. I show how to program scenes and chases in some of my other videos, but this app and this iPad are connected wirelessly to my Apple Airport Express, which is connected via Ethernet to my eDMX1 Pro, and that's connected via a 5-pin DMX cable to the lighting rig. And so the scenes and chases that are programmed into Vibrio can be triggered via MIDI. And so these two MIDI controllers are triggering those scenes. But I wanted to set up these controllers to best optimize the way that they would control Vibrio. So both of these controllers can be configured with software that runs either on a Mac or a PC. I configured them so each one of the buttons and faders would send independent MIDI continuous controller data. I didn't want any of the data to overlap, and I wanted to make sure everything was continuous to controller, because originally I had the Beatstep set up to send MIDI note and the Nano control to send continuous control, and they were fighting each other. The Nano control is set up so these faders control these thin pars, And I also have the buttons set up so I can turn them on or off immediately with the buttons, or fade in and out. And then I have these faders set up to bring up the different colors on the moving heads. And so with scene layering turned on in Vibrio, I can layer scenes together with my thin pars and my moving heads. It's a great way to set up looks. I also have the second set of buttons set up to control the spider beam lights, so I can mix those scenes together. You can interact directly with the iPad, or you can use the MIDI controllers, and it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So the way I have the Beatstep set up is I have these first 4 buttons set up to toggle different scenes that I've programmed on or off. And these are combinations of the thin pars and the moving heads. And I've got the button below each one of the toggles set up as a momentary switch. And I have these 4 buttons set up also as momentary, cueing different lights. Should I choose to turn on one scene, again with scene layering, I can come back to the Nano Control and I can layer scenes on top of that, or again, can come in and layer the spider beam lights. The other part of my rig is a LaserCube from Wicked Lasers. It has to be run either from a Mac, a PC, or an Android device. It doesn't have DMX Control. So I got this Redmi 7 Android phone. That's what's sitting right here. And with Laser OS running on the phone, I can trigger different scenes. And there's all kinds of different things you can do in this OS. But at the same time of triggering these patterns, I can also control my DMX lights. So I have all kinds of flexibility, all from the same controller. And all in a Harbor Freight case. Okay folks, now this is extra credit. I wanted to see if we could make the buttons on the MIDI controller control the laser and the DMX lights at the same time. The Beatstep can output both USB MIDI, which is hooked to the iPad, but it also has a connection so it can output standard MIDI. The standard MIDI is now going through a MIDI interface to the Mac, and the Mac is controlling the LaserCube. So you can set up hotkeys in Laser OS on the Mac. You can't on the Android, but you can on the Mac. So with that setup, now I can trigger different laser patterns at the same time that I'm cueing DMX lights. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and we'll see you on the next one.